بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير. الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور. الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فطور ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاشئا وهو حسير. ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير. وللذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير. إذا ألقوا فيها سمعوا لها شهيقا وهي تفور تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتكن نذير قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير. وقالوا لو كنا نسمع أو نعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير فاعترفوا بذنبهم فسحقا لأصحاب السعير. إن الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير. وأسروا قولكم أو اجهروا به إنه عليم بذات الصدور. ألا يعلم من خلق وهو اللطيف الخبير. هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا فامشوا في مناكبها وكلوا من رزقه وإليه النشور. أأمنتم من في السماء أن يخشف بكم الأرض فإذا هي تمور أم أمنتم من في السماء أن يرسل عليكم حاصبا فستعلمون كيف نذير. ولقد كذب الذين من قبلهم فكيف كان نكير. أولم يروا إلى الطير فوقهم صافات ويقبضن ما يمسكهن إلا الرحمن إنه بكل شيء بصير. أمن هذا الذي هو جند لكم ينصركم من دون الرحمن إن الكافرون إلا في غرور. أمن هذا الذي يرزقكم إن أمسك رزقه بل لجوا في عتو ونفور أفمن يمشي مكبا على وجهه أهدى أمن يمشي سويا على صراط مستقيم قل هو الذي أنشأكم وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون قل هو الذي ذرأكم في الأرض وإليه تحشرون ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين قل إنما العلم عند الله وإنما أنا نذير مبين فلما رأوه زلفة سيئت وجوه الذين كفروا وقيل هذا الذي كنتم به تدعون قل أرأيتم إن أهلكني الله ومن معي أو رحمنا فمن يجير الكافرين من عذاب أليم قل هو الرحمن آمنا به وعليه توكلنا فستعلمون من هو في ضلال مبين قل أرأيتم إن أصبح ماؤكم غورا فمن يأتيكم بماء معين صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوات.
بر محمد وآل محمد salawat. Respected scholar, my elders, brothers and sisters, Kushali Mubarak. If I can ask everyone to please recite Wiladat salawat to welcome Sheikh Azhar Nasser. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. A second salawat for the love of Fatima Az-Zahraa alayha salam. For the love of the commander of the faithful, Ali ibn Abi Talib, a third salawat in the loudest of your voices. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. ولعنة الله على أعدائهم ومنكر فضائلهم من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Respected elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I extend my greetings and congratulations to all of you on this blessed night, the eve of the 13th of the holy month of Rajab, which coincides with the birth of the greatest personality, a giant, an individual who is unmatched in his character, who is second to none other than Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, and that is Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullahi alayhi. As I was reflecting on what to speak about tonight, because it's always a challenge to deliver a lecture on the virtues and the merits of this great personality. Where do you begin? So I thought it would be beneficial to share a few lines from a famous ziyarah, a ziyarah that was composed by our 10th Imam, Imam al-Hadi. Sheikh Abbas al-Qummi, he mentions this ziyarah in Mafatih al-Jinan, and he says that Imam al-Hadi, our 10th Imam, he once visited the grave of his grandfather, Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, and he recited a lengthy ziyarah. It's known as Az-Ziyaratul Ghadiriyya. He recited this ziyarah on the day of Ghadir. And what makes this ziyarah of Imam al-Hadi to Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib unique is that this ziyarah is a summary of some of the most exceptional virtues of Ali ibn Abi Talib. It is a summary of his sacrifices, his unparalleled contributions to the religion of Islam, and as well as the challenges and the oppression that he faced in his life. So therefore, the words that I'm going to share with you are words that are coming from a ma'soom. I am not able to describe or to speak about Ali in a way that is appropriate for his status, in a way that does justice to him. But Imam al-Hadi alayhi salam, being an infallible Imam, he can do a much better job at recounting the virtues of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Now it's a lengthy ziyarah, but there's one part in the ziyarah towards the end where Imam al-Hadi alayhi salam, he says, addressing Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, he says, Salawatullahi alayka ghadiyatan wa ra'iha wa akifatan wa dhahiba. Imam al-Hadi, he says, may Allah's salutations be upon you, O Ali, in the morning and in the evening, in quick and rapid succession, an unending salawat upon you, O Ali. Imam al-Hadi is highlighting that no one can compensate Ali ibn Abi Talib for what he has done for Islam and for humanity other than Allah. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can give Ali his due right in terms of what he deserves for what he sacrificed. And then what does Imam al-Hadi say in the ziyarah? He says, فَمَا يُحِيطُ الْمَادِحُ وَصْفَكَ. Allahu Akbar. Imam al-Hadi, he says in the ziyarah, he essentially is saying, Oh Ali, the one who praises you can never fully encompass your description. Imam al-Hadi is saying. He says, فَمَا يُحِيطُ الْمَادِحُ وَصْفَكَ. Anyone who wishes to extol you and praise you, they're never able to fully capture the essence of who you are. You know, brothers and sisters, this is not an exaggeration by Imam al-Hadi. In fact, we have a narration from our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, and this narration is mentioned by Sheikh al-Saduq in his Amali. He gives the full sanad. He says that the Prophet said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله إن الله. Listen to what the Prophet says about the virtues of Ali. He says, إن الله جعل لأخي علي بن أبي طالب فضائل لا يحصي عددها غيره. The Prophet says, Allah has given to my brother, he calls Ali his brother, Allah has granted to my brother Ali virtues and merits and distinctions that no one can enumerate other than Allah. Only Allah Azza wa Jal can capture the entirety of the fada'il of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And then what does the Prophet say? He says, فَمَنْ ذَكَرَ فَضِيلَةً مِّن فَضَائِلِهِ. Whoever mentions a merit from among the merits of Ali, مُقِرًّا بِهَا, while he believes in those merits, غَفَرَ اللَّهُ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنْبِهِ وَمَا تَأَخَّرَ. The Prophet says, whoever mentions one virtue of Ali while believing in that virtue, Allah will forgive all of his past and future mistakes. وَلَوْ وَافَ الْقِيَامَةَ بِذُنُوبِ الثَّقَلَيْنِ. Even if you come to Allah on the Day of Judgment with shortcomings that are equal to the number of human beings and jinns ever created, even if you're carrying that type of burden. And then the Prophet says, وَمَنْ كَتَبَ فَضِيلَةً مِّن فَضَائِلِ عَلِيِّ بْنِ أَبِي طَالِبٍ لَمْ تَزَلْ الْمَلَائِكَةُ تَسْتَغْفِرُ لَهُ مَا بَقِيَ لِتِلْكَ الْكِتَابَةِ رَسْمًا. The Prophet says, whoever writes a virtue from among the virtues of Ali, the angels will continue to do istighfar for such a person as long as that writing exists. You write down in your notebook some of the fada'il of Amir al-Mu'mineen. You share it with your family. As long as that writing exists until Yawm al-Qiyamah, the angels will ask Allah to pardon you and to forgive you in honor of your remembrance of the virtues of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And the hadith doesn't stop there. The Prophet says, وَمَنِ اسْتَمَعَ إِلَى فَضِيلَةٍ مِّن فَضَائِلِهِ. Whoever listens to a virtue from among the virtues of Ali, غَفَرَ اللَّهُ لَهُ الذُّنُوبَ الَّتِي اكْتَسَبَهَا بِالْإِسْتِمَاعِ. Whoever listens to a virtue from among the virtues of Ali, Rasulullah says, Allah will forgive them for all the sins that they committed with their ears. And then the Prophet says, وَمَنْ نَظَرَ فِي كِتَابٍ فِي فَضَائِلِهِ غَفَرَ اللَّهُ لَهُ الذُّنُوبَ الَّتِي اكْتَسَبَهَا بِالنَّظَرِ. Whoever looks, whoever reads the virtues and the merits of Ali, you look at them with your eyes, Allah forgives all of the sins that were committed by your eyes. Who is this personality? The Prophet ﷺ is highlighting that it is through Ali that the sinner has hope and salvation. It is through Ali's remembrance that we remind ourselves of the virtues and the qualities that we are to aspire to. This is why dhikru Ali and ibadah. The remembrance of Ali is ibadah because he himself is the embodiment of ibadah. He brings you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So going back to the ziyarah, Imam al-Hadi alayhi salam, he says, فَمَا يُحِيطُ الْمَادِحُ وَصْفَكَ. The one who praises you cannot fully encompass your description. And then what does Imam al-Hadi say? He says, وَلَا يُحْبِطُ الطَّاعِنُ فَضْلَكَ. وَلَا يُحْبِطُ الطَّاعِنُ فَضْلَكَ. And the one who criticizes you, O Ali, the one who tries to denigrate you, cannot diminish your status, cannot bring you down. You know, there's a beautiful statement by a Basran poet by the name of Al-Khalil ibn Ahmad. He was a poet and a grammarian of the 2nd century, and he was familiar with Islamic history. He was also an Islamic scholar in his own right. He was asked about Ali ibn Abi Talib. And he says, and it's a very famous line that has been mentioned by many scholars throughout history. He says, ماذا أقول في رجل أخفى أعداؤه فضائله حسدا. What can I say about a man whose enemies concealed his virtues out of envy? وأخفى وأخفاها محبوه خوفا. And his lovers concealed his virtues out of fear of being persecuted for their love for him. And then he says, وَظَهَرَ بَيْنَ ذَيْنٍ وَذَيْنٍ مَا مَلَأَ الْخَافِقَيْنِ. He says, despite all of this concealment, the concealment of his enemies, the concealment of his lovers, he says, the horizon is still filled with the fada'il of Ali ibn Abi Talib. There is no human being in history who has faced a more concentrated smear campaign than Ali ibn Abi Talib. There is no human being who has been maligned and denigrated at the level of governments more than this individual. My dear brothers and sisters, if you look at the example of Muawiyah used to spend astronomical amounts of money to diminish the status of Amir al-Mu'mineen. It's narrated, and Ibn Abi al-Hadid al-Mu'tazili, in his Sharh of Nahj al-Balaghi, he mentions this incident. He says, one day Samura ibn Jundub was in the presence of Muawiyah in Sham. Muawiyah, of course, he's notorious for his hatred towards Ali ibn Abi Talib. Every cell in the body of Muawiyah despised Ali ibn Abi Talib. Muawiyah says to Samura that, Samura, there's an ayah in the Quran that is bothering me. Which ayah is it? He says, there's an ayah in the Quran about Ali that is bothering me. I need you to do something about it. Which ayah is it? The ayah from Surah Al-Baqarah. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَشْرِي نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ رَؤُوفٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. The ayah that was revealed praising Ali when he slept in the bed of the Prophet, acting as a decoy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that ayah, He says, and from among the people are those who sell their souls for the pleasure of Allah. And this ayah is about the soul of Ali, the precious soul of Ali. Ali is the seller, Allah is the buyer, and the product is the nafs of Ali. Muawiyah says, I need you to do something about this verse. This is a heavy verse. Samura says, what do you pay me to solve this problem? He says, I'll give you 100,000 dirhams. He says, not enough. 200,000 dirhams. Not enough. 300,000. He reached 400,000 dirhams. You're talking about amounts of money that represent the tax revenue of certain provinces in the Islamic Empire. Given to do what? Samura says, give me this money and I will tell the people, because these are second, third generation Muslims, I will tell the people that this ayah was revealed in praise of Ibn Muljam. Imagine that. Taking the ayat that praise Ali and attributing them to his killer. The propaganda and the misinformation about Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam is unprecedented. But as Allah in the Quran says, وَاللَّهُ مُخْرِجٌ مَا كُنْتُمْ تَكْتُمُونَ. Allah, He brings out what people try to conceal. You know, brothers and sisters, for decades upon decades, no one even knew where Ali ibn Abi Talib was buried. Just like today, we don't know the location of the grave of Sayyidah Fatima. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, his grave was concealed for many, many years. Why? That's how many enemies he had. Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, the family of the Prophet, they never disclosed the location of his grave for fear that his enemies would exhume his grave. They would take him out of the grave. That's the amount of hatred that they had for Amir al-Mu'mineen. There's a narration in Sahih Muslim where there's a conversation between Muawiyah and Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas. Just to give you a sense of who Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas is, Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas is a companion of the Prophet. But he's not someone who is close or loyal to Amir al-Mu'mineen. In fact, after the assassination of Uthman, Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas didn't give bay'ah to Ali. He wanted to play the neutral card. He wanted to see, what's going to happen, who should he back. So this is not a statement from Ammar or Abu Dhar or Miqdad. Sahih Muslim mentions the following riwayah. قال أمر معاوية أبي معاوية بن أبي سفيان سعدا. Muawiyah, he put pressure on Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas. And he says to him, يا سعد ما منعك أن تسب أبا التراب. Oh Sa'ad, what is preventing you from cursing Abu Turab? Which is a reference to Amir al-Mu'mineen. Imagine, it's interesting that the Shi'as are always put, people try to corner them. Well, you guys are the ones who, condemn the Sahaba. You speak ill of the Sahaba. If you want to talk about speaking ill of the Sahaba, the first person that you should indict is Muawiyah. He's the one who made Sayyid al-Sahaba. He's the one who imposed a policy where the master of the Sahaba is cursed from the pulpits around the Islamic Empire. So this is a culture that was created. Muawiyah hears Sa'ad is unwilling to do la'na on Ali. Imagine, it's not that Sa'ad is praising Ali. His refusal to engage in the condemnation of Ali is enough for Muawiyah to interrogate him. ما منعك أن تسب أبا التراب. Sa'ad, he says, there are three things that the Prophet said about Ali that prevents me from cursing him. Ali has three virtues. Whenever I think about these three virtues, I am too afraid to do la'na on Ali. I'm too afraid to slander him. In fact, if I was given even one of these virtues, they are worth the dunya and everything in it. What are these virtues? He says, سَمِعْتُ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَآلِهِ. He said, I heard the Prophet say on one of the occasions in which he was preparing to go out for a military expedition. as he was preparing his men to depart Medina, he commanded Ali to stay behind. This is the Battle of Tabuk. He told Ali to stay back. When the companions saw that, oh, Ali is not joining us, they started to taunt him and mock him. Because they saw the close relationship between Ali and the Prophet, and they thought that, oh, alhamdulillah, now Ali has fallen from grace. He's no longer the favorite. He's been demoted to just look after the women and the children. So these rumors, they hurt Amir al-Mu'minin. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, he goes to the Prophet and he says, Ya Rasulullah, khallaftani ma'an nisa'i was-sabyan. Ya Rasulullah, I'm always with you in battle. I'm always there on the front lines. Why am I staying behind this time? And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, أما ترضى أن تكون مني بمنزلة هارون من موسى إلا أنه لا نبوة بعدي. The Prophet said this publicly. He wanted everyone to understand that Ali was not demoted. Ali staying behind in my absence is a fadila for him. In the same way that Musa left Harun when he went to Mount Sinai to receive revelation, to look after the affairs of Bani Israel. And the fact that the Prophet, and of course the discussion on Hadith al-Manzila is a very in-depth, lengthy discussion, but suffice to say that Musa is not the one who appointed Harun to be his wazir. Allah tells us in the Quran that this Harun was not someone who was just randomly chosen. He was not even chosen by Musa. Musa makes dua to Allah. وَاجْعَلْ لِي وَزِيرًا مِّنْ أَهْلِي Harun أَخِي. Musa asks Allah to appoint Harun as his wazir, as his aide, his successor. Similarly, the Prophet is not the one who appointed Ali ibn Abi Talib. Allah appointed Ali ibn Abi Talib. The similarities, to understand the relationship, you have to go to the Quran and see what is the status of Harun with relation to Musa. This is virtue number one. Sa'ad says the second virtue that prevents me from cursing Ali is what? وَسَمِعْتُهُ يَقُولُ يَوْمَ خَيْبَرْ لَأُعْطِيَنَّ الرَّايَةَ غَدًا رَجُلًا يُحِبُّ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ وَيُحِبُّ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ وَيُحِبُّهُ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ. On the day of Khaybar, the Prophet said, after the first went and wasn't able to conquer the fortress, he came back and he was saying that you guys are a bunch of cowards, and they were calling him a coward. The second went and returned defeated. The Prophet said, tomorrow I will give the standard to a man who loves Allah and His Messenger. But not just that, Allah and His Messenger love him. Sa'ad in the hadith, he says, فَتَطَاوَلْنَا لَهَا. That was a sleepless night for the Sahaba. All of them were hoping that it would be one of them. In fact, they were sure that it would not be Ali ibn Abi Talib, because Ali had an eye ailment. So that night, they were excited, they were giddy, they were looking forward to the morning to see who the Prophet is going to announce. It can't be Ali because Ali is sick. It's got to be one of us. So that following morning, the Sahaba, they stood. The Prophet comes out and they're all extending their necks to make sure the Prophet doesn't miss them. They're standing on their toes, extending their necks, hoping the Prophet would point at them. Sa'ad says the Prophet on that day, he came out and he looked at us, he looked at our faces, he was looking for someone. But that someone was not in the crowd. He said to us, Ud'u li Aliya. Go bring Ali. They said, Ya Rasulullah, Ali is ill, Ali is sick. He can't participate today. The Prophet says, bring him. the narrations say that they had to carry Amir al-Mu'mineen. Two men had to hold him. He couldn't see. Sa'ad says, فَبَصَقَ فِي عَيْنِهِ. The Prophet took his blessed saliva, he wiped it on the eyes of Ali. There's another narration that says, after that day, Ali says, my vision had never been sharper. He took that standard, and Sa'ad says he conquered Khaybar. This is the second virtue of Ali that prevents me from cursing him. The Prophet said, he loves God and His Messenger, and Allah and His Messenger love him. How can I curse such a person? And then Sa'ad says, وَلَمَّا نَزَلَتْ. The third virtue of Ali that prevents me from slandering him is, وَلَمَّا نَزَلَتْ هَذِهِ الْآيَةِ فَقُلْ تَعَالَوْا نَدْعُ أَبْنَاءَنَا وَأَبْنَاءَكُمْ. The ayah of Mubahala. Sa'ad says, on the day of Mubahala, the Prophet brought out Ali, Fatima, Hassan, and Hussein, and Ali was the declared nafs of the Prophet. So Muawiyah, you can't expect me to curse an individual like this. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, as Imam al-Hadi alayhi salam says, the one who tries to criticize you cannot bring you down. This conversation happened in the court of Muawiyah. When Allah wants to reveal the greatness of someone, He will reveal His fada'il in the assembly of the most staunch of enemies. Wallahu mukhrijum ma kuntum taktumun. And then Imam al-Hadi, what does he say? He says about Amir al-Mu'mineen, and I urge all of you to read Imam al-Hadi's ziyar of Ali, az-ziyar al-Ghadiriyah. Among the lines that he says in that ziyar, he says, addressing Ali, he says, أَنْتَ أَحْسَنُ الْخَلْقِ عِبَادًا. This is not the words of a scholar. These are not the words of a companion. Imam al-Hadi is saying to Ali ibn Abi Talib, you are the best of creation in worship. Only the Prophet is superior to you. He doesn't say you're the best among the Muslims. You are the best of all creation in worship. Amir al-Mu'mineen's entire life was dedicated to Allah. There is not a single day in his life. There is not a single moment. There is not a single interaction where you can point at it and say Ali was not thinking about the pleasure of Allah. Every moment was a relentless pursuit of Ali to achieve the satisfaction and the pleasure of Allah. And this is what we have to seek. Of course, Allah doesn't expect us to be Ali ibn Abi Talib, but we need to be people of ibadah, people of God consciousness. There's a narration from Abu Darda. You know, Abu Darda is one of the companions of the Prophet who was known for his worship. He was sitting with some of the companions of the Prophet in the masjid, and there was a conversation about who is the most excellent in worship. Some names were mentioned. Abu Darda, he says, in my view, no one is superior to Ali in ibadah and worship. Now some of them, they didn't like this comment. So Abu Darda, he says, I'll share with you a story to illustrate why I'm saying this about Ali ibn Abi Talib. He says, one day I was walking at night around the outskirts of Medina. You know, Medina is an agricultural city. There are many orchards and gardens in Medina. He says it was nighttime and I saw Ali ibn Abi Talib walking. And I thought that he was walking home, but as he was walking, he stood there and he started to supplicate to Allah. He says, I stood there and I wanted to just listen to what Ali says when he supplicates. He says, I heard him with his voice. He said, Ilahi, ufakkiru fi afwik, fatahunu alayya khati'ati. He says, oh my Lord, when I contemplate your forgiveness, my mistakes feel trivial. I say to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, what mistakes do you have? Imagine how tough Ali was on himself. Amir al-Mu'mineen never felt that he had done enough for the Prophet or enough for Islam. There was something in Ali that always made him feel that he has to do more, that there's more to do, there's more work to be done. Ilahi, أفكر في عفوك فتهون علي خطيئتي ثم أذكر العظيم من أخذك فتعظم علي بليتي. But when I think about the severity of your retribution, I realize that my calamity is magnified. Abu Darda, he said, I stood there and I could hear Ali crying, weeping, alone, speaking to Allah, bowing, prostrating until I couldn't hear him anymore. He stopped speaking. So I went closer. It was night. I could only see him, his silhouette from the moonlight. I saw that he was laying on the ground. He was motionless. Abu Darda, he says, فَأَتَيْتُهُ فَإِذَا هُوَ كَالْخَشَبَةِ الْمُلْقَاةِ. I went to him and his body looked like a dry piece of wood. He was motionless. فَحَرَّكْتُهُ فَلَمْ يَتَحَرَّكْ. Abu Darda, he says, I started to shake his body. It was night, I could barely see. I was shaking him. He would not move. He was unresponsive. Abu Darda, he said, I stood over his body. And I said, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Wallahi aliyun qad mat. I said that Ali has passed away. In a moment of panic, he rushes back into the city. He goes straight to the house of Ali. He knocks on the door. Who opens? It's the middle of the night. Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salam, she opens the door. He says to her, Ya binta Rasulillah, Azzam Allah laki al-ajr. I have bad news. May Allah give you patience. Your husband was walking around in the orchards and he collapsed. He passed away. I left him there and I came to you. Fatima alayhi salam, she says, what was he doing? Describe to me what you saw. He says he was supplicating to Allah. He was bowing and prostrating and he was weeping, and suddenly he fell. He was unresponsive. Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salam, she says, هي والله يا أبا الدرداء الغشية التي تأخذه من خشية الله. She says, don't worry. I know Ali. He's my husband. What you saw happens to him very often. What you saw is not an anomaly. What you saw was his state whenever he stood before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He would be overwhelmed by the glory of Allah Azza wa Jal. He would be taken. Now, of course, brothers and sisters, Allah doesn't expect you and I to faint when we stand in ibadah. We don't have the ma'rif of Ali. But at the very least, let us not take our wajibat lightly. Let us dedicate a few minutes a day to dua. Let us make our ibadah a little bit more like the ibadah of Ali. Not like Ali, a little bit more. Let us move in the right direction. Let us improve it. I see that Brother Muhammad has sat close to the minbar. This is my signal, so I'll just mention one final line, with your permission, of course. If you want me to continue, recite a loud salawat. So now I've trapped him. He can't say anything. Imam al-Hadi, the last line that I want to share with you in the ziyarah, he says about Amir al-Mu'mineen, وَأَخْلَصُهُمْ زَهَادًا. He was the best among creation in worship, and he was the most sincere in zuhd. Sincerity in zuhd. You know, it's not easy to genuinely feel indifferent to the material world. You know, sometimes we pretend that, you know, I ain't about this dunya. Well, he has a Hermes belt. Right? I'm not about this dunya. No. We say this, we might try to pretend, though, that we're not interested in the dunya. And sometimes you have to fake it until you make it, as they say. But with Ali really was not attached to this world. His zuhud was real. Ibn Abbas, he says that when we were traveling with Amir al-Mu'mineen to Basra to fight the battle of Jamal, we stopped in a village. And you can imagine, Imam has this huge army, and he's going to fight against those who reneged on their bay'ah, and everyone is waiting for Amir al-Mu'mineen. Ibn Abbas, he says, I went to go find Ali so we can continue marching, and I found him repairing his sandal. Imagine, Amir al-Mu'mineen, who is, for lack of a better word, he's the emperor of the time, who has authority over 50 countries on today's map. There is no president or prime minister or king today that has authority over more land than Ali did during his khilafah. He's fixing his own sandal. You would think that he'd give this task to someone else, one of his, lowly soldiers. He's sitting there by himself, patching up his sandal. Ibn Abbas says, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, everyone is waiting. What are you doing? Amir al-Mu'mineen ignored him. He said, Ibn Abbas, what do you think this sandal is worth? Allahu Akbar, they're going towards the battle of Jamal. The world is upside down. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, what do you think is the value of this sandal? Ibn Abbas, he says, La qimata la. Ya Ali, it's a used, worn out sandal. If you went to the marketplace, no one would buy it from you. It has no value. Imam, he says, and this is in Nahjul Balagha, he says, Wallah. And Ali is not someone who says Wallah over trivial things. He says, Wallahi lahiya ahabbu ilayya min imratikum. I swear by Allah that this sandal of mine is more beloved to you than this khilafah that everyone is fighting over. إلا أن أقيم حقا أو أدفع باطلا. The only thing that gives value to khilafah or any position of power is if I am able to use it to establish the rights of people and to dispel falsehood and oppression. This is Amir al-Mu'mineen. This is Ali ibn Abi Talib. And it's not an exaggeration when Imam Zayn al-Abidin says, فَمَا يُحِيطُ الْمَادِحُ فَضْلَكَ وَوَصْفَكَ. The praiser cannot encompass your description, and the critic and the slanderer can never diminish your merit. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to illuminate our hearts with the wilayah of Amir al-Mu'mineen. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to keep us on the path of Amir al-Mu'mineen. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give us the tawfiq to visit the majestic shrine of Amir al-Mu'mineen in Najaf. And most importantly of all, we ask Allah to crown us with the shafa'ah of Ali on the day of judgment. يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين.
Respected scholars, my elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum and Kushali Mubarak to all of you. Before I start with announcements, Can I ask everyone to please recite Surah Fatiha for Marhum Sultan Hussein Saleh Muhammad Jagani and all the Marhumins. Al-Fatiha. Inshallah, we'll be having sufr or niyaz for our sixth Imam, Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, on Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. On Saturday, February 3rd. If you would like to donate, any donation will be appreciated and can be made to the treasure desk on the ladies and men's side. Also, this year we'll have itikaf program during the month of Ramadan. The dates for the program is from March 21st to 24th, and the registration will begin on Saturday, Sunday, February 25th. The minimum age to participate this year is 16 years and plus. More details will follow. Also, this is coming soon. As you know, every year we dedicate one weekend to remember our fallen star, who have been a pillar in the building of our community, in our community. This year, Fallen Star is dedicated to Marhum Rizwan Hemraj. As we honor our Marhum, we showcase our athletes and push our youth to participate in a variety of different activities over the family day-long weekend. We have different sports for all ages, and the deadline to register is set for Friday, 26th of January, so this Friday. The Fallen Stars tournament will be held on February 10, 16, and 17, ending with closing ceremony on February 18. The registration link was sent on a special Keeping Connected this afternoon, so please register soon to avoid any disappointment. There was also a separate link sent for those who are interested in watching the sports and joining for the lunch and dinner. Please fill out the appropriate link so we can plan accordingly. If you have any questions in regard to Fallen Star Tournament, then please reach out to Brother Abbas Muhammad on the men's side or to Sister Sukaina Rashid on the ladies' side. I would like now to invite Sister Hadia Ballu, Sister Asia Nattu, and Sister Sana Remtula, who will share with us the amazing trip they had and many youths as well from our community back in December. Sisters, whenever you're ready, please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. Wish everyone a Kushali Mubarak on this auspicious occasion. As many of you know, the Global Kindness Foundation embarks on trips to serve and treat many in various parts of the world.
Alhamdulillah, the youth got the opportunity to join GKF during winter break, and we flew to Iraq to treat the children at the Dar al-Zahraa school in Najaf. After the dental, optical, audiology, and medical camp was completed, we were able to travel to many holy cities in Iraq.
After Najaf, we visited Samarra, Balad, Khadmain, and Karbala. We got to visit the holy shrines, and for some of us, it was our first ziyarat. Most of us were even able to meet Ayatollah Sayyid Sistani and listen to his inspirational words. We have compiled a video that recaps our trip from the 16-hour delay we experienced in Istanbul to making lifelong friends around the world, and many memories along the way. We hope you enjoy our video.
مولى علي مولى علي أنا حبي علي وغرامي علي مولى علي مولى علي أنا حبي علي وغرامي علي مولى علي مولى علي مولى علي مولى علي. On the love of your light when I was raised, I was born in your name I heard praise. On the love of your light when I was raised, I was born in your name I heard praise. In Ghadir my heart for you was safe. In Ghadir my heart for you was safe. From my father Ali and my mother Ali. From my father Ali and my mother Ali. Mawla Ali Mawla Ali Mawla Ali Mawla Ali. أنا حبي علي وغرامي علي مولا علي مولا علي أنا حبي علي وغرامي علي مولا علي مولا علي مولا علي مولا علي أنا لا أبوح بسره وأنا المقاد لأمره أنا لا أبوح بسره وأنا المقاد لأمره أجد النوال ببحره أجد النوال ببحره أنا روحي علي ودليلي علي أنا روحي علي ودليلي علي مولا علي مولا علي مولا علي مولا علي علي غرامي علي مولا علي مولا علي أنا حبي علي وغرامي علي مولا علي مولا علي مولا علي مولا علي When I see your shrine I know that I'm home You're the king of the kings Najaf's your throne When I see your shrine I know that I'm home You're the king of kings Najaf's your throne With you by my side I'm never alone With you by my side I'm never alone Walk القرآن علي ما يأذن علي Walk القرآن علي ما يأذن علي مولا علي مولا علي مولا علي مولا علي أنا حبي علي وغرامي علي مولا علي مولا علي أنا حبي علي وغرامي علي مولا علي مولا علي مولا علي مولا علي مولاي وروحي ومهجتي لك كيف أوصف لوعتي مولاي وروحي ومهجتي لك كيف أوصف لوعتي أفهل رضيت بحسرتي أفهل رضيت بحسرتي حسراتي علي عبراتي علي حسراتي علي عبراتي علي مولا علي مولا علي مولا علي مولا أنا حبي علي غرامي علي مولا علي مولا علي أنا حبي علي وغرامي علي مولا علي مولا علي مولا علي مولا علي All our hearts your love struggle to contain To describe your worth words can't explain All our hearts your love struggle to contain To describe your worth words can't explain Your mercy we seek يا أبا الحسنين Your mercy we seek يا أبا الحسنين هو خيبر علي يوني حيدر علي هو خيبر علي يوني حيدر علي مولا علي مولا علي مولا علي مولا علي أنا حبي علي وغرامي علي مولا علي مولا علي أنا حبي
Thank you, sisters, and thank you for everyone for sharing this amazing video. I'd like now to call Brother Hasni and Deuji to say a few words. Salawat.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Khushali Mubarak to everybody as well. As you can see from the video, this was an amazing trip. And I'm not going to say much about the trip. I think on February 29th, the youth are going to be presenting during the regular Thursday program or the alternate Thursday program. You'll see a flyer up soon on that one. But this whole trip got started in the beginning with a very good talk by Mahmoud Hussain Ladak, who's sitting in the corner trying to hide. He set the tone for the trip. He gave us inspiration. He gave the youth a sense of what to expect in Ziyarat and what they could get out of Ziyarat. Whether they got that or not, we'll find out on Thursday on the 29th. But in honor of that, I do have a few things from Mamdou here. So if you'd like to come up, Mamdou. Mahmoud Hussain, sorry. And because he got us started on this, I think he at least deserves a hat. GKF hat, there you go. And a t-shirt like everybody else got over there. But more than that, I think we deserve something better. And this is a small plaque. Let's see if we can raise that up without destroying it. And this is from the marble. This is from the marble of the shrine of the 10th and 11th Imam, the one that was destroyed. They've taken the marble from the rebuild, and we were honored enough to get a piece of the marble there, etc. And it's got some words on there that I can't read. And finally, just a more, etc. Thank you very much again. Appreciate the help you give us in making this trip a possibility. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, brothers. May I please call Brother Muhammad Yasin for a munajat. Salawat.
بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات. لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله حسبي ربي جل الله نور محمد صلى الله عليه ولی شعر خدا لا الہ الا اللہ تیرے صدقے میں آقا ہم کو غدیر میں مولا ملا نبی نے جب من کنت کہا لا الہ الا اللہ آقا نے کی یہ التجا مانگی خدا سے بس یہ دعا امداد کو بھیجو تو ذرا کوئی جو ہو وارث میرا آقا نے کی یہ التجا مانگی خدا سے بس یہ دعا امداد کو بھیجو تو ذرا کوئی جو ہو وارث میرا رب نے سن لی یہ دعا علی ولی کو بھیج دیا ٹوٹ کے کعبہ یہ بولا لا الہ الا اللہ. All together. حسبی ربی جل اللہ نور محمد صلی اللہ علی ولی شیر خدا لا الہ الا اللہ. ہجرت کی جب رات ہوئی بولے سرور میرے علی بستر پر سو جاؤ گے تم خطرے میں ہے جان میری. ہجرت کی جب رات ہوئی بولے سرور میرے علی بستر پر سو جاؤ گے تم خطرے میں ہے جان میری. لیٹ گئے بستر پہ علی اٹھے لے کے رب کی خوشی کہنے لگی جبریل امین لا الہ الا اللہ حسبی ربی جل اللہ نور محمد صلی اللہ علیہ ولی شیر خدا لا الہ الا اللہ. مسجد میں تھا مولا علی آ کر مانگا ایک فقیر کون سنے گا میری صدا کون ہے رب کا سچا ولی. مسجد میں تھا مولا علی آ کر مانگا ایک فقیر کون سنے گا میری صدا کون ہے رب کا سچا ولی. رکوع میں تھے داماد نبی دے دی اپنی انگوٹھی مسکرا کر بولا فقیر لا الہ الا اللہ حسبی ربی جل اللہ نور محمد صلی اللہ علیہ ولی شیر خدا لا الہ الا اللہ. گزر گئے کہیں رات اور دن کہنے لگے یہ رسول امین کل دوں گا میں اس کو علم بھاگنے والا وہ جو نہیں गुजर गए कहीं रात और दिन, कहने लगे ये रसूल अमीन, कल दूंगा मैं उसको अलम, भागने वाला वो जो नहीं, जीत लिया उसने खैबर, काट दिया मरहब का सर, खुश हो के बोले हैदर, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, हस्बी रब्बी जल्लल्लाह माफी, हस्बी रब्बी जल्लल्लाह, नूर मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वली, शेर खुदा ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, पर मोहम्मद व आली मोहम्मद सलवात।
Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. May I now call please Brother Saeed for recitation as well. Salawat. This one is going to be in Arabic for all the brothers and sisters.
Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Khushali Mubarak. أسعد الله أيامكم جميعا بولادة أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب لذكره الشرف والصلوات. علي 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 يا علي، 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 علي علي يا علي، علي 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 يا علي، علي علي يا علي، علي علي يا علي، حب علي بن أبي طالب أحلى من الشهد إلى الشارب، علي علي لي يا علي، علي 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 علي، علي حب علي بن أبي طالب أحلى من الشهد إلى الشارب، أعذب من صهباء في دنها قد عتقت في الزمن الذاهب، علي 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 يا علي، علي علي علي، ومن جنى الشهد ومن قرقف ومن ورود الماء على السائب، ومن لقى خلين بعد النوى وكاعب يزهو على كاعب، أحسن من هذا وذا، أحسن من هذا وهذا وذا، حب علي بن أبي طالب، علي يا علي، علي علي علي، باب الهدى والعلم مولى الملا، باب العلا مولى المولى والملا، باب الهدى والعلم مولى الملا، مغني العدا بالصارم القاضب، نفس رسول الله زوج البتول، فخر الورى بسهمه الصائب، من قد عمرا وفرى نوفلا بجأشه وعزمه الثاقب، حب علي بن أبي طالب أحلى من الشهد إلى الشارب، علي 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 يا علي، علي 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 يا علي 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 ومن فنى مرحبا يوم الوغى غير علي الليث بني غالبي ومن رقى غارب خير الورى وكسر الأصنام بالقاضب غير أمير المؤمنين الذي في عمره ما فر من طالب علي علي يا علي 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 يا علي حب علي بن أبي طالب أحلى من الشهد إلى الشارب علي 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 لو فتشوا قلبي جميع الورى حاضرهم كل مع الغائب لو فتشوا قلبي جميع الورى حاضرهم كل مع الغائب ما وجدوا في وسط قلبي سوى سطرين قد خطا بلا كاتب العدل والتوحيد في جانب وحب آل البيت في جانب علي 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 حب علي بن أبي طالب أحلى من الشهد الشارب علي 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 يا علي لا عذب الله أمي إنها شربت حب الوصي وغذتني في اللبن وكان لي والد يهوى أبا حسن فصرت من ذي وذا أهوى أبا حسن صلوات أفضل الصلاة
If I can ask everyone to please start for ziyarat. Thank you.
الهی ببیمار داشته بلا جو بیمار ہو جلد پاوے شفا الہی برائے امام زمان ہمیں حول محشر سے دے تو ہما قیامت میں محشور ہو بالی اٹھے قبر سے کہے کہ ہم یا علی یہ مولا علی مولا علی مولا علی ہے یہ مولا علی ہے یہ مولا علی ہے کعبے میں ہے مولا دودھ کے سیپی میں گوہر ہے، یہ نور کی بارش ہے کہ حوروں کا سفر ہے، دیوار بنی در یہ تو حیدر کا اثر ہے، مکے کی فضاؤں میں بھی پھیلی یہ خبر ہے، اس نور کو ملنے کو چلا نور نبی ہے، یہ مولا علی مولا علی مولا علی ہے، یہ مولا علی ہے، یہ مولا علی ہے، اے پانچ ونوں مل چہار دتن احمد و علی زہرا و حسن شبیر سلے تا امام زمان، شبیر سلے تا امام زمان، ایک ایک پہ صدا صلوات پڑھو، صلوات صلوات و سلام ہو حیدر پر، صلوات و سلام ہو حیدر پر، روزے پہ چلو صلوات پڑھو، صلوات صلوات و سلام یا امام زمان فرما او ظہور، یا امام زمان صلوات۔ السلام علیک یا رسول اللہ، السلام علیک یا امیر المؤمنین، السلام علیک یا فاطمة الزہراء سیدۃ النساء العالمین، السلام علیک یا حسن المجتبى، السلام علیک یا ابا عبداللہ وعلى الارواح التي حلت بفنائك، علیکم منی جميعا سلام اللہ ابدا ما بقیت وبقی اللیل والنہار، ولا جعله الله الآخر لحد مني لزيارتكم، السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته، السلام عليك يا تسعة المعصومين من ذرية الحسين، إمام زين العابدين وإمام محمد الباقر وإمام جعفر الصادق وإمام موسى القاسم باب الحوائج، السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء، السلام عليك يا رئيس الفقراء، السلطان أبا الحسن علي بن موسى الرضا، كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء ورحمة الله وبركاته، السلام عليك يا محمد تقي الجواد، السلام عليك يا علي النقي الهادي، السلام عليك يا إمام الحسن الأصغري، السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان سيدي الأمان الأمان الأمان، السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن، السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن، السلام عليك يا كابة الإيمان، السلام عليك يا إمامي وإمام الإنس والجان، أجل الله فرجه وسهل الله مخرجه وظهورك، السلام عليكم يا ساداتي وموالي جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته.